Lord Vader's life as Anakin Skywalker can usually be summed up in 2 words: violent hatred. Anything that even remotely reminds him of Anakin Skywalker is either avoided or destroyed, and we see this happening with both good and bad memories alike. Vader had swiftly taken care of many things that still held echoes of Anakin, and that included places, objects, and of course people. It is likely to be said that the longest surviving people that remember Anakin would be the Jedi in hiding and the members of the Lars family. Owen and Beru were likely the only commoners in the entire galaxy that knew who Vader truly was, and for many years, it would seem that the Dark Lord paid them no mind and avoided them entirely on Tatooine as a general rule. And it was likely that Lars didn't even enter his memory until he found his son Luke. In the canon comic run Darth Vader, Dark-Hearted the Sith, after Vader discovered Luke, he went on a warpath with a desire to kill Owen and Beru Lars, only to discover they were already dead. So why did Vader want to kill the Lars family, and why was he unaware that they were already dead? We will be discussing this in today's holocron, and how legends and canon depict this 2 very different ways, and the subtle differences in the murder of Owen and Beru Lars. It has been believed for a very long time that it was Boba Fett who had killed the Lars family. This was clued in whenever Vader gave the no disintegrations warning to the bounty hunter in Empire Strikes Back. However, not only does this theory not actually hold truth, as the search for the stolen plans happened in a matter of hours, not enough time for them to contact Boba Fett and get his skills, but it has actually been disproven in both legends and canon, with the original perpetrators, stormtrooper squads, Alvian and Zeta, being the true culprits of the murder. It was only sometime after that Boba Fett found the Lars home while he was on the hunt to find Luke Skywalker. In Legends, the Stormtrooper squad tracked the Lars down via the connection with the Jawas and confronted Owen and Beru. Vader was watching the whole situation go down in a hologram communication center from his Star Destroyer, far above the planet's surface, and he saw the people that they had found and immediately remembered them. Owen Lars would make a fatal mistake by spitting in the face of Commander Officer Mad Tarek, leader of the Zeta Squad. He consulted with Lord Vader, who then gave him the order to have the 2 of them executed. The Lars were shot before they were torched with flamethrowers along with their house and belongings, likely to cover up any Imperial activity in the public eye. However, in canon, things happened very differently. This whole situation was retconned by recent comics, and apparently, Vader knew nothing about the Lars deaths. Apparently, the Stormtrooper squad who traced the trail back to the Lars homestead and had the couple killed were under the independent orders of that squad's commanding officer after failing to acquire them. The Empire did ruthless things all the time, so it wasn't entirely out of character for an Imperial officer to just go ahead and execute commoners that displeased them. In this situation, it was entirely likely that the Lars were interrogated about the stolen plans, to which they admitted truthfully that they knew nothing. Of course though, now due to this interrogation, they naturally knew too much and needed to be executed, and then their home utterly destroyed. But Darth Vader himself wouldn't find out about this until the year 3 ABY, where, after his duel with Luke in Cloud City, he would go on a journey to discover how Luke survived despite what Sidious had said. Vader had deeply admired Luke whenever they met, and he could not only sense Luke's potential, but Vader was amazed by it, though one thing that stuck out to the Dark Lord was a massive problem. Luke was weak. Having already assumed that it was Kenobi who had hidden his son, this was unforgivable. Vader was infuriated that all this time had been wasted, and Luke wasn't nearly as strong or skilled as he should have been by that point in time. That could only mean one thing: Kenobi never trained him, and he was raised by somebody else. It was someone else's fault that he was weak. The boy was unskilled, undisciplined. He cared far too much about commoners, and had been taught to care for his friends. This was all weakness to Vader, and he wanted revenge on whoever caused this weakness to seep into Luke. In the comics, we would follow the Dark Lord as he works backwards, starting from where he knew Luke had come from, Anakin's own home world of Tatooine. Arriving back on the sandy world of his past, Vader did his best to keep his thoughts straight as he spoke with the Imperial data officer on the planet and acquired the information on Luke Skywalker. This led Vader back to the Lars homestead, where he found it abandoned and devastated. He was too late, and someone had already gotten to Owen and Beru before he got the chance. Vader had hated that the 2 taught Luke the meaning of love and caring for others. Vader had actually hoped that his son had been trained as a proper Jedi by Kenobi instead of this pitiful outcome. Luke would know how to use the Force and would be skilled with the lightsaber, while also adopting the Jedi's ideals, which Vader knew how to easily break and manipulate to the dark side. He had done it many times, in fact, with the Inquisitors. Ironically, a fully trained Luke Skywalker would have been an even bigger failure in The Empire Strikes Back than the Luke that we got. A Jedi-trained Luke would have fallen into each one of Vader's traps in Cloud City, and likely would have been captured by the Dark Lord, causing the Emperor's plot to go exactly to plan. Vader and the Emperor had planned for an experienced Jedi Knight to come against them, but instead, it was just a passionate young boy who was barely competent with the grasping of the Force. Luke's experience with the love of his family helped him keep a grounded point of view when being prodded to use the darkness by Vader. But of course, if Vader wasn't holding back, Vader could have decimated the young boy. All of this served to infuriate Vader further. It wasn't enough that he had been lied to and his son had lived, or that Kenobi snuck away with him and had him raised somewhere in secret. But during all that time, Luke had massive potential bubbling beneath the surface, and it was all wasted according to Vader. Vader would then decide to take the initiative upon himself and begin to teach Luke. When prodding him towards using his anger didn't work entirely, Vader would teach him loss and take his son's hand. But rather than take the path of power and join Vader, Luke would rather die. He leapt off the walkway into the abyss, and Vader was left standing there perplexed by the entire situation. And this is why he decided to take revenge on those responsible for the entire thing, Owen and Beru Lars. A revenge that would never be fulfilled. But this is exactly why Vader wanted Owen and Beru Lars killed, and I hope that you all enjoyed this little story and look into the psyche of Vader. If you enjoyed today's holocron, it would really help us out if you could hit that like button, and hit the subscribe button as well for more character breakdowns and analysis on all of Star Wars lore. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.